with it, in the hood with it. Welcome back to the Collective Clips, where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support. We're going up on this channel. It's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled and very appreciative. So gracias. So with all this bullshit going on with the Venezuelan conflict and people getting snatched up out of their place, whether it's true or not true, I wanted to talk about something positive that gang members, alleged gang members, are doing. Okay? And this is near and dear to my heart because it happened in my own community. And I gotta give it the utmost respect. You know, when you think gang members, you think violence. You think drive-by shootings. You think people getting snatched out of their spot. You think people getting their shit took. People going in and out of prison and incarceration. And there are a lot of hardships and struggles that you go through being a gang member. You know, it's not all what you think it is. For the kids aspiring to be a gang member, there's a lot more betrayal and disloyalty and a lot of bullshit that you will have to go through. But if that's the life you want to live, then so be it. Go ahead and handle that. Better you than me. You know, when I lived that life, I could definitely tell you there was a lot of struggle. There was a lot of days I woke up hungry, broke, but didn't give a shit. All I cared about was what the next man thought about me. But what did really the next man think about me when I didn't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, right? I didn't have nothing. But I sure played the role smooth, right? I sure on the surface, everyone thought I was that man and I had shit, but I didn't have nothing. All I had was my word and I guess my pride and a whole lot of other fucking adjectives and verbs and nouns, but I didn't have family support. Family didn't want to be around me. I didn't have homeboys that were really loyal to the game. They were more loyal to the streets than they were to me. And I found that out on numerous occasions. There's a rapper, Norteno rapper, I guess you would call him. I hate those labels, but it's the truth, right? Out of Merced, GB, Ghetto Boy. Now, man, back in the days when I first started my channel, I guess there was a conflict between us based on not what I said or what he said, but what other people said. They stirred up the fucking pot, right? They stirred the bullshit up. And it is what it is, man. It's happened a lot with my channel. You know, people will put words in my mouth or say things, or people take things that I say the wrong way. But at the end of the day, I fully support this individual. I fully support what he's got going on. And a while back, man, I think it was a couple months ago or even a month ago, they had a giveaway where they gave kids toys, school supplies, put on a performance for the community, several rappers, all hosted by GB, man, and out of his pocket. You know, out of his homeboys' pockets. You know, constantly gang members are looked at as a menace to society or a menace to your community. But when they give back, it goes unrecognized. It goes I guess, supported. And I'm tired of that. You know, there's a lot of people that are gang members that destroy our communities. That's a fact. I was one of them. I never gave back. I took. But now I give back in spreading righteous words and palabras to the people and give respect and flowers to the people that are deserving. You know, my hero's always been the hard worker, the person that wakes up in the morning, the one that takes care of his family, doesn't ask for handouts or for anyone to contribute to his pot. He builds his own pot and he puts everything in it. Those are my heroes, right? My grandfather, my tios, people that I see wake up at 4 or 5 every morning, go to the fields or do their construction job or whatever the case may be. I always look to them, and I guess that they inspired me and instilled in me gratitude, but also instilled in me a method to the madness of hard work, right? I was never scared of any hard work. Still isn't. You know, I'm not in any form or fashion. But GB decided to put something on for the community, and law enforcement tried to shut it down. Okay, now for those of you that don't know who GB is, he's a very talented rapper out of the Central Valley, Merced, California. And he's been doing this for a while, and he's now starting to get his flowers and recognition, not based off what he does in the streets or within a gang, but basically off his wordplay, his lyrics, his music, his continual attitude to go out there and hustle and move smooth with a purpose. Well, here's some knowledge you can't get in college, man. He's targeted. You know, he's targeted because He's doing things different in Merced, California that I've never seen done before. When I grew up in the 90s, gangbanging, and then I went to the youth authority and then ultimately to prison, the mentality out there was not a give or take. It was just a take. But this guy is literally changing that narrative single-handedly. Never in my life, when I hear the word McNamara Park, right, them words, did I ever think about give back. I remember that was a crack, where crack was being slung, gang fights, barbecues and pull-ups and sideshows and them type of shenanigans, gang member meetings. That's what that park was all about. That's what it was known for, and it's still known for that. But this guy is changing the attitude and the narrative, and he's being targeted for it. The police try to shut it down. The city tried to shut it down, thinking that it would bring a lot of active gang members to the area and that they would promote gang activity. When at the same time, this man took it upon himself to give back. There's not a lot of people willing to do that, especially in the Central Valley. You hear about these give backs from these rappers in these bigger cities like New York, Los Angeles, even Oakland, and a lot of these things fly under the radar. There's a lot of these rappers and gang members, or what people that are considered gang members, that do give back in their own subtle ways and don't ask for any recognition for it. Now, this man is not asking for recognition for doing what he does, but he should be recognized as a pillar of the community. People ultimately think just because a couple months ago he was indicted with some friends of his or people that alleged associates, that it was all bad and that he was involved in something that was destroying the community in the area. And albeit, man, gang members there's always an agenda. There always was when I was banging. As a Norteno, we wanted to defend our homelands. We wanted to defend our people. We were of the understanding that the only way to do it was fire versus fire, meet fire with fire. And we promoted that attitude, most definitely. But just because we thought that way, we still went home at night, just like every other person, and worried about our bills and worried about how we were going to pay and worried about our families. We just had different personalities and personas. Now, things have changed. If anything, it's gotten worse. Nothing is watered down. Now, these youngsters nowadays need someone they aspire to be and someone they look up to show them a different way. Rather than just someone out there talking about, hey, you're an active homie, you're still solid, you're good, whoop-de-whoop, let's go do this, let's get in the mix, you need to be pushing up on deals, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. No, we need someone like GB who gets in the community and gives back. School supplies, performances, haircuts. Things that the community actually needs. Things that people, low-income housing, people that are going through the struggle and living that lifestyle because it's a single mother or a single father, or they just don't have much, he's giving back what little he has, man, and I gotta respect it. Now, my understanding is that the Merced Police Department, and I'm not trying to target them in any form or fashion, they do their job, right? But they were trying to shut this down. And I understand thinking that, oh, he's a gang member, and knowing him the way they do, having been in the system, him having been in prison, they need to understand that people change. With fame and fortune come different types of mentalities. Some people, they get it and they don't know how to act with it. They get a little bit of power and respect, and the first thing they want to do is run out and go get the nice car and still live in a trailer. The first thing they want to do is go get all kinds of jewelry. The first thing they want to do is go out there and show off money on TikTok and Instagram and basically throw it in people's face what they have. It's all good, man, that you're getting your hustle on and you got that, but don't sleep on the man that doesn't have it, that will do anything to get it, right? Because that's when you find yourself in a situation where you don't have it no more, right? Someone will come take that. But someone like GB, man, who doesn't do that, you don't never see him wearing all kinds of jewelry. You don't never see him flexing in Mercedes and Maybachs and all that. You see him out there in his community providing haircuts for children that are less fortunate, that might not have a two-parent home, that might have grown up in the ghetto. The same ghetto boy that he's portraying to be, that he is, he knows what it is to live in the ghetto. See, a lot of people portray the ghetto. They think they really know what it is. Now, I grew up in the same area as GB, so I can tell you it was ghetto than a motherfucker, right? Crack deals, gang violence, people getting their head tore off. That was the real life thing. Smokers walking up and down G Street, R Street. You know, our neighborhoods, the neighborhood GB is from was basically started an offshoot off of Dead End, which was my neighborhood, right? And a lot of these guys were brothers or family members to guys from my barrio. They grew up the same way. In fact, the area they grew up in, there's a lot of blacks and of course brown there. So they had a different type of mentality. You know, they had a struggle on them streets they were on. So this guy GB has seen it. He's really lived it. He's lived through incarceration, prison terms. So I understand where he's coming from. He's one of the type of dudes where he got money. He's starting to get a little bit of fame. And he's doing the first thing you don't expect a gang member to do, and that's give back. Now, I seen a person say, oh, he was just doing that because he got indicted to make himself look good. It don't matter what he's doing it for. As long as he sleeps good at night knowing he did something. Something is better than nothing. Now, for the law enforcement that are trying to shut it down because they're more concerned with people coming into the community ruining it, I don't think gang members are going to shut something like that down where there's children. See, gangsters and gang members play by rules. Yeah, I said it. There's rules. There's rules to the madness, right? And one of the rules is no civilians or children. At least that's how it was back in my days. And I'm sure that will always continue to be the case, right? Now, I understand in the past there were drive-bys. They don't happen anymore. And innocent victims and children were, ultimately and unfortunately hit. Again, a lot of people utilize that, it's chalk it up to fucking casualties of war. No, never chalk it up. A children's life is worth more than anything, right? So there's never no chalking shit up, or there's never no way to comfort the family, or the parent that lost their loved one, their kid. You can never make up for that. But what GB is doing in the community is a great thing by giving back. Now, this video probably won't get a whole bunch of views. And I don't blame you. You want to hear the drama. You want to go on No Jumper and see him do a cypher buck naked on a fucking rooftop. You want to see Brick Baby lie to you. You want to see Adam A. Minor do weird shit. And you want to see all the riffraff shenanigans they got going on. And that's cool. But this video is to give this guy his flowers and his respect. Albeit we don't see eye to eye due to gang politics. We don't see eye to eye due to our standings within the city of Merced. But at the end of the day, he's doing something I never seen anyone do, including myself. See, when I was gang banging and I was trooping in my steel toes headed for a murder show, that's what I was doing. I wasn't out there thinking about the youngsters coming up. I was feeding them propaganda and instilling a mindset for them to go out there and commit more crime. I was a bad role model. It was a bad situation I grew up in, and I wanted to make it worse for everyone else. That was a corrupt mentality. I grew up out of that. I understand now. To see someone like GB, who was just incarcerated, get straight out from being incarcerated, an indictment, a righteous indictment, and turn around and keep doing what he does. Take it on the chin and keep on pushing and giving back. That's a lovely thing, man. Like I said, it's never happened in my city before. There's never been anyone as popular as this guy, or had the credibility he does in the streets. Now, I'm not trying to give this guy just be all on his jock and all that. I'm not doing all that, man. No Diddy. I ain't fucking Lefty Gun playing Brick Wolf kissing on the dance floor. But what I am is showing respect because it's due. Regardless if we don't agree on everything. The fact remains that I'm always going to have love for my city, and I'm always going to have love for the Norteno movement. And this dude is the definition of what a Norteno is supposed to be. Okay? Someone who uplifts his people. Someone who supports anyone worthy. Someone who supports the raza and his people. And not just the raza, but everyone in the community. Black, brown, white, Asian, Uso. He's a real one. You can't deny it, man. For a long time, I thought he was just another greedy rapper, gonna get fame and then shit on his community and dip off, or a gang member that was tearing down his hood. But at the end of the day, I could see the love that this man has for his community and his city. A lot of people get their barrio and their neighborhood blasted on them, but they're destroying their barrio at the same time. The one thing that they proclaim they love so much that they get blasted on their face and their heads and their bodies is the same thing that they're destroying. This guy's not doing that. This guy's showing a different level of gangster. Okay? He's showing a level of someone who cares about his area. Now, for the police officers, and I know they pulled up and they tried to shut it down or they were strictly against it, I'm glad that the event did happen and that it turned out the way it did and that people were able to see another side of gang members and rappers. You know, if more of this happened, if this caught on instead of fucking chase bank schemes and scams and check frauds and fake fucking stories like Hell's Angels pulling up to Aurora, Colorado, and fake stories like Venezuelans fucking taking people out all the time, and this world would be a lot more better for our youth. See, because at the end of the day, we're here now, but we're not going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be over for us. And our kids are going to carry on our legacy. And if all they know is gang violence and TikTok and bullshit, then they're going to be spitting and speaking bullshit. So it's up to us as members of our community to give back. I'll respect the fuck out of what GB did, man. And for law enforcement, I understand the situation, their concern, but it's not always about shoot 'em up, bang, bang. Sometimes it's about a haircut and some school supplies. Sometimes, and I know it's hard for them to fathom it because it was hard for me to believe that someone who just was locked up on an indictment, which of course, if you don't know the details of that, he was only locked up due to a probation violation for being in association with known gang members or associated with gang members. And he was in and out, man. But at the same time, this man is someone that people expect to be a bad look, but he's turning the tables. He's showing people that he can fucking give back. And that's a great thing. Anyways, man, I just wanted to speak on that because not a lot of people have touched on it. You know, of course, when he was doing his show in Santa Cruz, him and I think it was Acito, man, people pulled up and there was bullshit and drama that happened. And of course, people try to make it, you know, it was all drama. So that did views. Oh, man, he got ran up on and did this. Raza running up on a raza. It's never going to change, right? And I'm just glad that this event, no one decided to go fuck it up where there's children and civilians and women. You know, it was actually a great event. They did their thing. And I commend them. Like I said, first time ever in my city that something like that has happened. There's been give backs from car clubs, from Victory Outreach and different religious sects in the city. And that's recognized and gracias, man. There's a lot of people. See, I come from poverty. I come from a city, man, in Merced, the Central Valley, that where a lot of people don't have much. There's not a lot of jobs. There's not a lot to do. There's nothing in the streets for the kids but gang violence. Okay, but negative influence. So when someone that the law enforcement and everyone considers to be basically the leader of that, or one of the in the leadership role of that, the face of it, gives back, man, it's like a slap in their face. That's what they don't want you to see. But it's what's happening. It's what needs to be respected. So, man, shout out to GB for that. Again, man, we're never going to see eye to eye, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, you got to respect it. You know? So with that being said, I'll touch your moose with a purpose. Wait. Before we do all that, I wanted to talk about Acito. Acito pulling up to Long Beach, California, right? Man, there was so much hype. So much hype. Hey, man, a Norteno going to Southern California to do a concert. Is he going to get ran up on? There was one guy I had to check him, man. Had to do it. Had to check him in my live. This guy was like, oh, yeah, the homies. He was talking about Southsiders. The homies are going to pull up and do this and then. I said, bro, why are you snitching? Why are you telling? If they're going to do what they're going to do, let them do what they're going to do. Okay? I know that like when Bozo was going to Atwater, you know, I was worried about his safety and security. I was also under the assumption, man, that it was all propaganda and bullshit. That shit was never going to happen. Because I grew up in that area. There wasn't a fucking venue to throw a pot at up there. What are they going to do? Play at the fucking local remate? That's it, right? But, you know, Acito pulling up to LA, Long Beach is a great thing. You know, I seen Conejo pulled up to Monterey County. Beautiful thing. Several rappers from Southern California have pulled up north, man, and did their thing. And been embraced. As long as you treat people with respect, you'll be respected. There's always going to be gang members and people that want to cause friction and problems, man. But that ain't a good look. You know, because you got them same dudes that are banging the same thing in your backyard. So handle your business there first before you go to a concert and run up on some dudes from LA you don't even know. And vice versa. So I'm glad that the Vato fucking did his little show, was able to establish and accomplish that. Respects for that. I got a lot of grief. Why aren't you talking about it? Man, hey, I'm not going to promote anything that I wasn't too sure of. Okay, I've done that in the past and had to slap my hand on it. Had to apologize to people. I try to do my homework, man, and give you facts. That was a very clandestine thing, done very quietly. So I don't know, but from what I'm hearing, that it turned out good, and I respect it. And I'm sure the Vato, man, that opens doors for more people to go. And you guys got to understand, they're all brown, man. If you like good music, it's good music, as long as there's no disrespect. Anyways, man, shout out to Asito for doing his thing. Shout out to the Southern community for allowing him to do that. And again, man, shout out to GB for changing the narrative on active Norteño gang members, man. Everyone thinks that, it's all about crime and violence, but it's not. It is about defending your homelands by any means necessary. It is about loving your backyard and who's in it. But at the same time, it's also about giving back. And that man did that. The gun.